for the beginning, the proper approach of the relationship between the military medical personnel that are in activity and those who are in reserve. How do you find to be in your country?
So our country is pretty unique in Canada with respect to how we are integrated in our service. We use what's called a total force model. And so our regulars who serve every day full-time. There are also reservists who serve full-time every day.
This is the model about.
And then there's a bigger pool of reservists who are part-time. But we have in the Army side of our existence, we have field ambulances that are reserves, and we have a regular force field ambulance as well. And our exercises are often cooperative, so we work together. And at our national headquarters, it is all integrated. So the reserves and the regular force work together to achieve the same outcome and the same aims. Yes.
It's a very strong relationship.
It's a very, very strong relationship.
It hasn't been interrupted.
No, and you'll find sort of at my rank and even maybe one below, like most of your supervisors are all regular force at that point, and the reserves, we completely integrate with them. So yeah, it's a very good relationship.
How is to be a nurse in the Canada Army?
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity. I mean, we have a very robust clinician set. So we have physicians and nurses and combat medics like every other military.
Military nursing, this is different.
It is, it's a whole other skill set. And we have military nurses like myself who've gone on to leadership roles where you end up taking all of the traditional military leadership courses as well, and then you take command of a unit or a deputy commander of a formation. Those are all opportunities for clinicians as well still. We do have a unique skill set. We have a physician assistant, which doesn't exist in a lot of the countries. There are some countries that have it, and we took them from a non-commissioned rank and made them a commissioned rank now as well. So yeah, we have a pretty good depth of field for clinicians in the military.
How are the young people that came into this domain?
I think every country is, kind of going through the same evolution where they have a different view of the world and we have to do different things to satisfy them. And so recruiting and retention are the same topics for every country in NATO. And so, we just look to appeal to what attracts them. We make sure we make it interesting and we give them relevant training. I think the global situation right now has a lot of people paying more attention to militaries around the world. And so that's certainly helping with numbers, yeah.
Here is not about only diseases, like in a civil hospital. It's about trauma. Mm-hmm. It's different.
It is.
It's harder.
Yeah.
You need to be prepared more, physical but psychical too.
For sure. Yeah, and the medical side, there's always those multiple facets. So, you have to look at you have to look after your own force domestically back home. You have to look at a deployed force and keep them healthy to be able to continue the warfighting effort. And then depending on your clinician set and your role, you have to look after the actual combat casualties side of and medical evacuation and all that as well. So, people, especially in a time of conflict, people see exactly how deep the medical service goes with respect to all of its elements of service.
This year, the summer Congress.
It's been great.
Yes, here in Bucurest. Nice to hear that.
Yes.
It was an opportunity to meet the military, medical personnel from here, from the Romanian Army. Mm-hmm. You've met them to the Army hospital?
Yes.
You've been there?
And Dr. Arafat and his, yes, for sure. Yeah, it's been an incredible existence here. The public-facing emergency response network in this country is superlative. It's incredible.
So you know now how is our system, medical system, military medical system.
Yeah, and it's cooperative. I mean, it's very consistent with NATO. We have STANAGs that say this is how you will do business as a military. And so that's nice because, we can go any country within the NATO space or our partners, and we can generally get along, right? We have almost the same equipment, we have almost the same policies and practices, but then when you see sort of the level of engagement of the government and the amount of money that they've put into the system and how the public emergency system works with the military and the firefighting in being part of the military, that's a unique concept here in Romania. So,
Oh, yes, it's a strong collaboration.
yeah, it's a
And
really
useful.
neat system.
So, here to that Congress had the opportunity to talk about this, to have exchanges.
Yeah, and that's the best thing about Summer Congress, is it puts all of the countries in one
How
place for a
many
week.
states have been?
I think we're at 21 this year.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, a very cooperative existence. And especially to see, now we all know Dr. Arafat from his role with NATO as well, right? So it wasn't the first time we'd seen him, even now, though we're in his country. But to actually see the footprint and the amount of engagement that Romania does with so many other countries to keep everything fresh and current is really outstanding, yeah.
In the military exercises, you've met each other as well.
And continue to do so. Like I just talked to the junior officers, and I said, you'll meet these people this week, and you'll go home, and in 3 months or 3 years, you'll call somebody for an interoperational exercise in another country, and it'll be the same person you were on course with here. It's a very small world in the end of the day.
And
yeah.
it's also about the same thing, saving lives.
Always the altruistic service over self, for sure. Yeah.
May injuries be different?
Yeah, and this is a different era, right? We've seen, we don't want to make it all about drone warfare, but it's definitely changed the injury landscape on the battle side of the space. So, we're seeing a lot of, especially early on in the conflict, we've seen a lot of top-down injuries, so kind of like in World War I when they used to drop grenades out of airplanes. Now we're seeing drone strikes from the top down, so a lot of back and inner thigh injuries, a lot of concussion injuries, a lot of traumatic brain injury from the blasts.
You, from the nursery domain, you are the first one that meet the patient.
On the evacuation chain, yeah. So in Canada, we do have a concept model of some emergency care going far forward in our airlift. But generally, our nurses are in that first echelon of care. So we'll use combat medics, combat paramedics, and a couple of doctors far forward at the initial point of injury, and the rear evac chain. And that's where you see the country models differ a little bit. Like even here in your civilian system, you'll have nurses and doctors in some of the ambulances, right? And so a very interesting concept that you don't see back in North America.
It's a good one?
I think it's a great one. Every country that has it, I have a good German friend who he is also a doctor on an ambulance. And so, I mean, you're bringing the care right to the point of injury at the definitive care model. So it's just obviously an expensive option as well. But
how do you find the whole Congress this year?
Everything from, we got the high patronage from your president. We've got the Minister of Defense involved. It's been the 2 Romanian officer associations, it's been a whole of government support network here. It's been really wonderful. And I mean, Bucuresti is a beautiful city. We've had a really great experience here.
You've visited only Bucharest?
I actually came a little bit early, and I spent some time out in Transylvania and rented a motorcycle. Yeah, so.
You had the opportunity to see a little more from Romania.
I did.
But also from the Romanian spirit.
Yes.
How do you find our
Especially
culture, our food?
Yeah. Oh, okay. The food itself is a whole other conversation. It's been incredible. And everyone was talking about the food last night. And so we've definitely made sure we've gone to a few of your classic, really old restaurants and really got to experience the culture and see some of the shows of the Romanian history and heritage. Yeah.
Now, we are talking about the Interaliate Confederation of Military Officers in Reserve. This is the one CIOMR from your part.
That's right.
How it looks from your perspective, the future of this confederation?
Yeah, the integrations. So, excuse me, we've been very, very fortunate in that in the last 2 years, essentially, NATO came out with a document, the MC 441-3, and it has defined the relationship of NATO with the reserves. So with the NCR, the NATO Council on Reserves, is every country has a general representative on that committee. The CIOR, CIOMR, and CISOR, so the non-commissioned side, we form together to be what we call the 3 Cs, or the ARO. So the reserve organizations work together. And so we each do our independent work and the things that are important to us. We have a junior reserve officer course, we have an intermediate course, we have a global health committee, we have a military medicine committee. So we do all those, but our leadership team works with the leadership teams of the others to make sure we have a common voice, that we're all kind of looking for the same outcomes, and that it's important and it's relevant to what NCR, our NATO connection, says is important to them. If we're not adding value to something, then there's no point of existing. And so on the medical side, we are also very lucky. We have COMEDs, it's called. It's the Surgeon Generals of all the countries, the chief of the medical services. And so we connect with them a few times a year, and we sort of get our direction from them. What's important to them, we take back, and we make sure the reserves are aligned with that same messaging.
And this is for all the armies?
Yeah. So in CIOMR, COMEDs is just medical, but for the NCR, it's all of the forces across all of the NATO plus partner countries, yes.
Officers and...
Yeah, and CISOR looks after the non-commissioned ranks as well, so everybody's included, yes.
So the perspective, it's a good one, and evolution is also...
Yeah, and it's good because it's connected us to being current and relevant with NATO. We always followed the model and what was important, but now it's an official connection. We report every year to the NATO
one
cycle.
model,
Yep.
For everyone.
Yep.
Okay, in your country, because we are talking about Canada, how do you find the attitude of the civilians, of the ordinary people, about the reserve forces, generally speaking?
Yeah, so I think in North America in general, the United States would probably be the same, roughly the same model. You've got both sides of the spectrum. You've got people who want to join, who want to serve, that's why we have so many employees. And then you've got other folks who the military is just not for them. I think what Canada has done historically, because we have a lot of natural disasters, we're not an earthquake country, but we are a forest fire and flood country. And our military, and especially the reserves within the military, have always been a significant contribution to that. And the public's always been amazing. Like they just, will go into a small town with a fire and they will give us their community hall and they will come out and support, or floods, and we're sandbagging alongside the other citizens. So we have a really good working relationship with the public at large. It's just whether or not they actually want to join the military or not, I think, is where the line divides. And part of it is that, we're not the Eastern-facing European countries. It's a long way away for the normal citizen back home. So if you're not paying attention to the politics, or it's not sort of on your doorstep, it allows you to have a different perspective. So
unfortunately, here in Romania, also the meteorological experience is different from years behind. And the army is also implied, or always near by the civilian.
Right.
So we have what to learn, but behind this is the experience that you have during, I don't know, exercises, but not only different missions here in country or in other countries,
right,
with militaries from the other states.
Well, and there are, each military will have multiple exercises where they'll invite international partners. And then there's a few very structured international exercises, and we all get to participate in those. So you do get to keep current with how all the different countries are responding to different events just by continually preparing and participating.
But also to give your experience further.
Yeah, and that's a really important part, especially, if you're an earthquake country and your other country doesn't, you need to pull your subject matter experts from where they exist. And there's some countries that are just disaster after disaster after disaster, and yeah, we need to take our lessons learned from them for sure.
As a conclusion, how do you find the days after this Congress? what it will be, I don't know, physical. What are you doing? It's about something like, I don't know, noted lessons or
Yeah, so, you know,
how was it useful?
So I have everywhere we go, you have to have an after action that creates a lessons learned. And so the immediate post-event here will be dissecting all of the different things that happened, because we had some great committee work, we had some great presentations, we saw different models of doing business. So we'll compile all those, and then we'll extract the lessons from them. So, you know, are we going to change how we do something, or do we want to send somebody to explore a new concept that we just discovered? If we've got some new little training tidbits or that we should be incorporating into our daily work or our exercises. And then those will actually come out as an actual lessons learned piece, and that gets disseminated. So every iteration of this, we're always learning, we're always advancing, we're always developing and trying to get best practices, if you will, you know, from sort of all the key players, yes.
How many years of medical nursing do you have?
A lot. This year is 30. Yeah. So I was a combat medic before I was a nurse, but this will be 30 years as a nurse in the military.
How did you make this choice of being military nursing?
I switched because I mean, I didn't have to switch, even though I was a nurse then at that point, but for me, it was the leadership. It was the ability to influence the training. It was the ability to provide the training. It was the ability to give someone a higher standard of care, as opposed to just remaining a combat medic. So that was the initial pivot for me. And then the leadership stream, you know, kept going after that. So
the highest level that you hope to be, which is the one? I don't know, the treatment, or I don't know, soul?
You know, I think for me, for sure, the leadership one is better, because you just get to influence more people and show them the sort of the way, how to develop, how to look after people underneath them. Because you can be very good at your practice and very caring and competent, but do you know how to look after your own people? And so I think that's the key piece of leadership, is teaching people how to look after their own people, not just patients. So.
Yes, if the personnel, medical personnel is healthy, and
Absolutely, yeah.
The other person have a good treatment.
For sure.
It's important for a patient to trust the medic in the medical support. It's important for him to know that he will be okay, he will be fine.
Yeah, and it's important for them to trust the system.
Yes.
You know, not just the caregiver, but the entire system, and that's the important piece.
Is this a healthier mode for their injuries? The trust, I mean.
Right.
How do you point this in the relationship with the patient?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's clinical practice 101, as you know, we'll call it. Like, it's just having a good...
Just a point for us.
Yeah, it's just a good bedside manner, right? And remembering that, you know, this is their absolute worst day. And it might be your worst day too, but you kind of have to hide behind that a little bit, right? And like you said, especially if they're like significantly injured, you need to do everything you can to be in that sort of optimistic role as much as you can, even though it's a grave situation. Yeah.
Thank you for our discussion here today.
Thank you for having me.
And I don't know if you may say, I don't know, everything you want to say to military personnel, medical personnel from here in Romania. Would you like to say them something?
You know, sort of just the same message I just talked about leadership. It's, you know, I have a bunch of sayings I've developed over the years, and, you know, ever forward is one of my two favorite kind of words to use together. So as long as you're always seeking something, professional development, better practice, leadership, succession, right? As long as you're always looking forward to sort of serve yourself so that you can serve others, make yourself better so that other people can benefit from that, that's the model to have a good, healthy military career for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers.